Something feels off. You can't quite put your finger on it, but the energy around a certain person in your life is heavy, dark, even unsettling. Their words cut deeper than they should. Their presence drains you. Their actions seem almost designed to create chaos, fear, and confusion. But is this just bad behavior, or something much more sinister? Demonic influence is not just the stuff of horror movies. It's real, and it often operates in ways that go unnoticed until the damage is already done. The people around you, friends, family, co-workers, can be used as vessels for something dark, something that feeds on negativity, deception, and destruction. And if you don't recognize the signs, you might unknowingly be letting it wreak havoc in your life. In this video, you're going to discover 7 unmistakable signs that someone around you is under demonic influence. By the time we're done, you'll know exactly what to look for and, more importantly, how to protect yourself from being pulled into the darkness. Stay with me until the end, because the last sign is something almost everyone overlooks. Sign 1. Demons persistently incite anger and frustration. Have you ever been around someone who seems to be in a constant state of irritation, as if a storm is raging inside them? No matter how peaceful the situation is, they find a reason to lash out, argue, or create tension. This isn't just a personality flaw, it could be a sign of demonic influence. One of the primary ways dark forces operate is by manipulating emotions, and anger is one of their favorite weapons. Why? Because anger is powerful. It blinds rational thinking, destroys relationships, and leaves people spiritually vulnerable. If someone in your life seems to always be on edge, easily provoked, or consumed by frustration, you might be witnessing the effects of something deeper than just a bad mood. Demons don't create anger out of thin air, but they do know how to magnify it. They take minor irritations and turn them into full-blown rage. They whisper thoughts of offense, betrayal, and resentment, keeping people trapped in cycles of bitterness. Over time, this can lead to emotional exhaustion, broken relationships, and even physical illness as stress takes its toll. Think about it. Have you ever encountered someone who seems addicted to conflict? They pick fights over trivial things, hold grudges for years, or twist words to fuel unnecessary drama. These are the very situations where demonic influence thrives. The more chaos and division they can create, the stronger their hold becomes. Why does anger open the door to demonic influence? When someone gives in to constant anger and frustration, they unknowingly weaken their spiritual defenses. Darkness preys on negativity, and the more someone entertains these destructive emotions, the more room they give for malevolent forces to operate in their life. Ephesians 4:26-27 warns, "In your anger do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry, and do not give the devil a foothold." This isn't just a moral guideline, it's a spiritual warning. Anger, left unchecked, becomes a gateway for darker influences to take control. How to recognize and protect yourself. If you sense this pattern in someone around you, or even within yourself, step back and assess the situation. Are they feeding their frustration daily? Are they easily manipulated into anger? Do they struggle to find peace no matter what? If so, you may be witnessing the first sign of demonic influence. Sign 2. Demons act as energy vampires. Have you ever been around someone who leaves you feeling completely drained, mentally, emotionally, even physically, after just a short interaction? It's as if the very life is being sucked out of you, leaving you exhausted, confused, and sometimes even anxious or depressed. This is not just normal social fatigue. This is something far more sinister. Demonic influence often manifests through people who act as energy vampires, constantly feeding off your light, your peace, and your emotional stability. They thrive on your fear, your anger, and your sadness. Every interaction with them feels like a battle, yet they never seem affected. Instead, they seem more alive, more empowered, more in control, while you feel weaker and more lost. How do they drain you? These individuals operate in several ways. 1. Constant negativity and chaos. They always bring problems, drama, and darkness into your life. Every time you see them, there's a new crisis, a new complaint, or another reason for you to feel sorry for them. They drain your emotions, leaving you exhausted. 2. Manipulation and guilt. They play the victim, making you feel responsible for their pain or struggles. They twist situations so that you feel obligated to give them your time, your attention, your energy, even when it's harming you. 3. Subtle attacks on your spirit. They mock your faith, your beliefs, or your goals in ways that seem small but are actually deliberate. Their words chip away at your confidence, your purpose, and your inner peace. 4. Unsettling presence. Have you ever noticed that after spending time with a certain person, your thoughts feel clouded, your mood shifts, or even your sleep is disturbed? This is no coincidence. These individuals carry a dark energy that lingers long after they've left the room. How to protect yourself? Recognizing this behavior is your first weapon of defense. Once you see the pattern, you must set boundaries. Emotionally, spiritually, and even physically if necessary. Pray for discernment, protect your energy, and never let guilt keep you trapped in a cycle of draining interactions. Demonic energy vampires don't just want your time or attention, they want your very essence, your light, and your connection to God. Don't give them that power. Protect your spirit, because once you recognize what's happening, they lose their grip on you. Sign 3. Demons aim to distance you from God. One of the clearest and most dangerous signs of demonic influence is separation from God. This isn't just about skipping prayers or missing a Sunday service. It's a systematic weakening of your faith, your connection, and your spiritual strength. And the scariest part? It happens subtly, often without you even realizing it. At first, it might seem like life is just getting too busy. You tell yourself, I'll pray later, I'll read my Bible tomorrow, I'll get back on track soon. But soon the distance grows. The hunger for God fades. Doubt creeps in. You begin questioning things you once stood firm on. You start rationalizing behaviors you once knew were wrong. You feel spiritually drained, disconnected, and even resistant to anything that brings you closer to God. This is not a coincidence. It's a demons know that when you are deeply connected to God, you are strong, protected, and guided. They can't manipulate you easily. But when they can pull you away, isolate you, and weaken your faith, you become vulnerable. They introduce distractions, temptations, and negative influences, all designed to erode your spiritual foundation. Think about it. Have you noticed that the more distant you feel from God, the more chaotic, anxious, and uncertain your life becomes? That's because without His presence, you are left unarmed in a spiritual battlefield. But here's the good news. You can fight back. The first step is recognizing when this is happening. If you feel like you're drifting, it's time to take action. Pray, even when you don't feel like it. Read Scripture, even when it seems hard. Surround yourself with godly people, even when isolation feels easier, because the moment you resist, you break the cycle. Demons fear a person who clings to God, no matter what. That's why their goal is to create distance. Don't let them. If you've felt yourself slipping away, now is the time to step back into your power. Your faith is your armor. Never let it be taken from you. Sign 4. Demons envy, progress, and joy. Dark forces despite growth. They loathe joy. They can't stand to see you thrive because progress is the enemy of oppression. When someone is under demonic influence, one of the clearest signs is their deep, almost irrational resentment toward the success, happiness, and peace of others. Ever noticed how some people seem to react negatively when you start improving your life? Maybe you finally landed a better job, found peace in your spiritual journey, or broke free from toxic cycles. Yet, instead of support, you are met with jealousy, criticism, or subtle sabotage. That's no accident. Demonic influence works through people to kill momentum, drain joy, and keep you trapped in negativity. How it manifests: once they undermine your success. You accomplish something meaningful, but instead of celebrating, they belittle it. They say things like, anyone could have done that, or let's see how long this lasts. These words plant seeds of doubt, meant to break your confidence. They feed you negativity. The moment you step into a better season of life, they bring problems, drama, or unnecessary stress. It's almost as if they want to pull you back into a lower state. 3. They resent your happiness. When you're at peace, they act irritated. They downplay your blessings, gossip behind your back, or even try to provoke you into arguments just to rob you of your joy. Why do demons hate joy? Because joy is powerful. It radiates light. It strengthens your spirit. It lifts your vibration beyond their reach. When you are joyful, you are connected to higher energy, whether you call it God, divine protection, or spiritual strength. Demonic forces thrive on fear, doubt, and pain. So when someone around you seems to consistently try to drain your happiness or block your growth, ask yourself, is this really just their personality, or is there something darker at work? How to protect yourself? Guard your energy. Not everyone deserves access to your journey. Be mindful of who you allow close. Stay spiritually strong. Whether through prayer, meditation, or affirmations, keep your spiritual foundation firm. Refuse to dim your light, no matter how much they try to discourage you. Keep growing, keep shining, and keep moving forward. Your joy is a weapon. Your progress is proof of your purpose. And if demons are trying to stop you, it's because they know exactly how powerful you are. Sign 5. God sends others to warn you. When someone in your life is under demonic influence, God will often send people to warn you before the damage becomes irreversible. These warnings might come from unexpected sources, a close friend, a family member, a pastor, or even a stranger. But one thing is certain, if you ignore them, you do so at your own risk. Warnings from people who see what you can't see doesn't always announce itself with red flags and flashing lights. Sometimes it hides behind charm, manipulation, and deception. You might be too close to the situation to see it clearly, but God places people in your life who can see what you're missing. If multiple people warn you about someone, pay attention. That's not a coincidence, it's divine intervention. The urgency of spiritual discernment. When someone says, I just have a bad feeling about them, or be careful, something isn't right, don't dismiss it. Discernment is a spiritual gift, and God often speaks through those who are sensitive to the unseen. Even if their warning doesn't make sense at the moment, trust that God is revealing something for your protection. Biblical examples of divine warnings. The Bible is full of stories where God sent people to warn others. Think of Nathan confronting David about his sin, 2 Samuel 12, or Paul warning Timothy about false teachers, 1 Timothy 4:01. These warnings weren't given to control or scare them. They were given to redirect them before destruction hit. If God used people to warn kings and spiritual leaders, why wouldn't he do the same for you? Ignoring the warnings comes at a cost. When you brush off warnings thinking they're just overreacting or they don't understand, you're putting yourself in danger. Many people who have suffered betrayal, heartbreak, or spiritual attack later admit that someone had warned them, but they didn't listen. God doesn't send warnings for no reason. They are a shield, a divine alarm sounding before disaster strikes. What should you do when someone warns you? Instead of ignoring the warning or getting defensive, take it to God. Pray for clarity. Ask him to confirm if this warning is truly from him. Pay attention to patterns. Has this person hurt others before? Does their presence bring confusion instead of peace? The Holy Spirit will always guide you to truth, but you have to be willing to listen. When God sends others to warn you, he's not trying to scare you, he's trying to save you. The question is, will you listen? Sign 6. When they succeed in harming you, they disappear. Have you ever noticed that certain people enter your life, cause damage, and then vanish, as if they were never there? They come with chaos, deception, and emotional destruction. Then, once their work is done, they move on without a trace. This is not a coincidence. This is a clear sign of demonic influence at work. These individuals don't linger to see the aftermath of the pain they inflict. They don't stay to help rebuild what they've broken. They don't show remorse, guilt, or responsibility. Instead, they disappear like shadows retreating before the light, often leaving you questioning if they were ever truly real in the first place. Why do they vanish? Because their purpose was never to be a lasting part of your journey, it was to derail it. Their mission was to plant seeds of doubt, fear, and destruction in your life. Once they've succeeded, they have no further use for you. They drain your energy, steal your peace, and once you're left in emotional or even physical ruin, they exit without explanation. Think back. How many times have you encountered someone who showed up at the worst moment, manipulated their way into your trust, then left you broken once they got what they wanted? It could be a toxic friend who suddenly disappears after spreading lies about you, a romantic partner who drains your emotions and leaves as soon as you're deeply attached, a co-worker who sabotages your success and then transfers departments or quits without a word. But here's the real danger. If you don't recognize this pattern, it will repeat. Demonic influences don't just disappear forever. They return, sometimes through different people, sometimes in the same form, until you learn to shut the door completely. So what can you do? First, trust the patterns, not the words. If someone enters your life and repeatedly causes harm, don't ignore it. Second, strengthen your spiritual defenses. The stronger you become in faith, wisdom, and discernment, the less power these forces have over you. And finally, don't chase after those who disappear. If someone leaves after harming you, let them go. Their absence is a blessing, not a loss. Stay aware, stay protected, and most importantly, never allow a destructive presence back into your life once it's been removed. Sign 7. Demons operate with hidden agendas. Nothing is ever what it seems when demonic influence is at play. What looks like a simple disagreement, a toxic relationship, or an innocent mistake often hides something much deeper, a calculated agenda designed to manipulate, deceive, and ultimately destroy. Demons don't move in obvious ways. They work behind the scenes, pulling strings, planting thoughts, and twisting reality to suit their purpose. Their greatest weapon? Deception. They make people believe they are in control, all while guiding them toward decisions that bring destruction, chaos, and spiritual downfall. The goal is always the same, to keep you blind to the truth, disconnected from your purpose, and trapped in a cycle of negativity. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who constantly stirs drama but plays the victim? Someone who speaks words of kindness, but their actions slowly erode your peace? These people may not even realize they're being used as vessels for something darker. Demonic influence hides in manipulation, false promises, and situations that seem harmless at first but gradually pull you away from your spiritual clarity. These hidden agendas can show up in relationships, workplaces, friendships, and even within your own thoughts. A toxic person draining your energy, a seemingly harmless opportunity that leads to destruction, a pattern of confusion and spiritual doubt. None of this is random. The moment you sense something is off but can't explain why, trust that instinct. The most dangerous part? Demonic forces disguise themselves as everything you've ever wanted. They work through temptation, false security, and distractions. A relationship that feels intoxicating but is pulling you into darkness. A business deal that promises success but robs your peace. A friend who flatters you but secretly envies and sabotages you. The enemy doesn't show up in horns and red eyes. He comes as everything you thought you needed. But there's good news. Once you recognize these hidden agendas, their power weakens. The more you seek wisdom, the harder it is for deception to take root. Demons thrive in secrecy, expose them, and they lose their grip. Now, ask yourself, is there someone in your life who always seems to be causing confusion, draining your spirit, or leading you away from your path? It may not just be bad luck, it could be a hidden agenda at work. Stay aware, trust your discernment, and never underestimate the power of unseen forces operating beneath the surface. If you've recognized even one of these signs in your life, don't ignore it. Demonic influence is never random. It's always strategic, always intentional, and always working against your destiny. The enemy operates in secrecy, using people, situations, and even your own thoughts to weaken you. But here's the truth. Darkness only thrives where there is ignorance. The moment you open your eyes and expose the deception, the power shifts back to you. Now the real question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you dismiss it as coincidence? Or will you start seeing the patterns for what they really are? A spiritual battle for your soul, your mind, and your future. This is not about fear, it's about awareness. The more you recognize these signs, the harder it becomes for negative forces to control your life. You have the power to break free, to step into clarity, and to remove anything or anyone being used against you. So, take a moment and reflect. Who or what is subtly draining your energy? Which patterns keep repeating, pulling you further from your purpose? It's time to reclaim your spiritual authority. Don't wait until the damage is done. Protect yourself, stay vigilant, and always seek truth. If this video resonated with you, don't keep this knowledge to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want more powerful insights like this, stay connected with so much more to uncover. Because the battle is real, but so is your power.